Have you ever thought that, hey, you know, I really think that the employment rates should rise even higher than they are right now? Because, employees are just super arrogant. They just ask for way too much. So we need the employment rates to rise. That way, they can decide to go back down, kill that attitude, and basically we can pay them even less than we are right now. Have you ever thought that? Because I know I would if I was a rich millionaire with a way too big forehead for my body. Now, unfortunately, we're obviously not talking about me. I don't think that way. I am neither rich or have a massive forehead. Although I would gladly take a massive forehead if I could be a billionaire like this man is right here. So, we are talking about Tim Gurner. He is all of the posts and things I've been seeing about him are calling him a millionaire. However, uh, after looking up his name, he apparently owns about $6 billion in assets, which he's a real estate investor, so I'm assuming that's all in property. So I think that makes him a billionaire. I'm not sure how much money he has in his wallet, I guess. Maybe he's got like 999 million, so he's not quite there yet. I don't know. But the fact that he has 6 billion in assets is kind of right on the line of millionaire and billionaire. Either way, though, I would take the massive forehead to be a billionaire. Just give me that couple more inches, and I would be a billionaire. Yeah. And on top of that, I could also be an egotistical dickhead. So this man went on live television air. I don't fucking know, live streaming. We're in the future now. Nobody watches television anymore. But anyways, he went on some kind of broadcasting plays news network in Australia where he basically talks about how the unemployment rates need to rise to 40 to 50% in his opinion. These are all just opinions, okay? And he thinks they need to rise because the employees are too arrogant. In one of his lines, he says that they don't work very hard and get paid too much, which I don't know if you've looked at any kind of new documents or statistics that have came out, but people are historically struggling more than they ever really have. So obviously this is in Australia. I'm in the United States, unfortunately, and it's I'm sure it's kind of different between those two countries, but I'm sure for a large portion of the world we are all in the same position where we are struggling to actually live. And when you're a billionaire, I'm sure it doesn't matter. You're loaded for life. Who cares? But he says that people don't work hard enough and make too much money, which is just complete bullshit. I mean, obviously, for some people that's correct. Don't get me wrong. All right, some of you guys suck, but uh, we're talking about most people here. All right. You have people working extreme amounts of hours and not even making enough money to buy house, apartments, food, any of that kind of stuff. And it sucks. So you have this billionaire kind of just taking a shit, rubbing it on your nose, saying, "How does that smell?" You know. Another point he brings up is that he needs or we, the government, whatever the we is, need to remind the employer that they work for the owner or they need to remind the employee that they work for the employer, not the other way around. Which is true, yes, but that employer would not have a company if it wasn't for the employees. If you treat your employees like dog shit, that's just going to be downhill spiral. So I mean, the employees are way more important than I feel like he's making it seem like they are. You can't have a company without employees, and you can't have employees if you treat them like shit, which he does own his own real estate business, like I mentioned. I can't imagine how his employees get treated. Are they all making a minimum wage, whatever that is in Australia? Obviously, whatever state he's in. I don't know what state he's in. I choose not to look at his massive forehead very much, but while I do agree that the employer works or the employee works for the employer, it's not quite that simple. You need those employees and you need to treat them well, which means paying them more. And I feel like that is probably a big thing on why the employment rates have dropped so much. One of the reasons is that people just aren't getting paid enough to do certain jobs. Like, you're not going to want to work at McDonald's and getting treated like shit for $15 an hour. It's just, I wouldn't want to do that. That doesn't makes sense to me. And there's only so much shit you can take before you decide you've had enough, you know? And in that same kind of section, he talks about how the employees feel like the employer is very lucky to have them, which, depending on the type of employee you are, obviously, if you are a very good employee, then yes, the employer is very lucky to have you. There is no getting around that. If you're a real shitty employee, though, you suck, you don't do your job, you ruin things all the time, they're not lucky to have you. I'm sorry. It's that's how it is. But if you are a grade A employee, you do everything you're supposed to, you're on time, you work lots of hours, get everything done you're supposed to, the employer's lucky to have you. There is no getting around that. It doesn't matter how you think about it. The employer is lucky to have that employee. And it's honestly kind of hard to find people that go that out of the way because people are kind of done. So, yes, if you get an employee that is amazing, you are lucky as an employer. I'm sorry. If you're an employer and you might feel differently about that, I don't really care. Okay, that's how I feel as an employee myself. If you work your ass off, that employer is lucky to have you. And his last kind of a section he brings up is how the world is trying to destroy unemployment, which he basically says the government is creating unemployment, which I can't say I would be surprised if that was true. However, I don't think that's happening because that kind of screws the government over as well. But I wouldn't be surprised. You know, the government is kind of shady, at least here in the U.S. I know Australia's government isn't very good either, so I wouldn't be surprised if something like that was happening down in Australia, down under, you know. But I mean, I don't think the government is purposely trying to create unemployment. Less people with jobs, less money is going into their pockets for taxes. Doesn't really make sense to me why they would be creating unemployment. Can't say I'd be surprised though. Just saying. He also, this is really the last section. I know I said the last time. He talks about how there are massive layoffs happening, and that's the government trying to create unemployment. Um, that doesn't make sense. Usually, at least the way I understand layoffs is layoffs happen because the employer can't afford to pay you anymore. So you're not getting fired. You're getting fired, but you're getting let go because they can't afford you anymore. That's more of the employer not making enough money, which I'm sure is happening a lot because people can't afford stuff anymore. So depending on what kind of business you're in, I'm not surprised that people are getting laid off like that. But most employees or most employers are private businesses. The government has nothing to, the government's just not going to come knocking on your door. Hey, can you lay off some of your employees? We're really trying to get that unemployment rate to go higher. We need that 40, 50% because these guys are arrogant. All right. Thanks. Oh, by the way, give me more of your tax money. Appreciate it. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Layoffs, I don't think are any way assist or coordinated with the government trying to raise unemployment rates. Doesn't make sense. I'm gonna say it 100 times. Now, that's about all he talks about. You know, it's just a rich billionaire, millionaire, whatever, being a complete cocksucker, talking about how them people making very little money under him, anywhere, are too arrogant. All right, and some of you are. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I would say this percentage of you. Some of you suck. Just saying. You know who you are. But no, you can't just say that employees are arrogant because they want more money and they think they're important. And you got to kill that attitude because it's just not true. You need employees for a company. You can't treat them like shit. It's just basically pedal them down to dog shit and treat them like dog shit. It's just not how that works. And I was really excited to look at the comments on this post. However, if I look right here, there is 23 million views, almost 22.9. There's almost 23 million views, which is a fuck ton. Don't give me, that's a lot. There's only 13 comments. That's weird. I'm not sure how that works. And you're like, the way I was kind of thinking is people are reposting this Twitter post on websites and stuff like that. Oh shit, my bad. This X post. Whew. God, almost got the government after me on that one. No, the X post on websites and stuff. So I'm assuming that when you view it off of a website, that counts towards the views. But what's more weird is looking at some of these great comments. They have way more likes than the post does itself, which is weird. And they have a fraction. I mean, this one right here, which is a good point. Don't get me wrong. Has 15,000 likes. The post only has 3,000, and this only has 300,000 views. So fraction of the views, but way more likes. So I'm not really sure what's happening. But one of my favorite comments is this one right here. Inflation's having, or sorry, wait a minute. Inflation's even having an effect on old mate's forehead. That's a great. Inflation's going up, and so is his millionaire's forehead. Every single digit gets added to his bank account. His forehead just expands like an inch. Great comment. I was hoping for more of those, but there's only 13 of them, so I can't get any more than that. But that's all we're going to talk about in this video. So yeah, quit being so arrogant and just get back to work for your minimum wage jobs that you can't go home and afford rent. You have to dumpster dive for some food. Get over it, pussies. Hella you delicious, looking so delicious. I still get vicious.